Welcome to the Grand Prix season. Speedway is a sport that involves tactics and strategy, and so does this game. If you want to succeed, keep these 4 golden rules in mind. Tracks are not the same. A bigger track means longer straight and reduces the significance of bends. You need to set up your bike properly. To find the best configuration, give it a training run on the track before events. Grip is everything and translates directly to speed. Look for favorable grip zones and bends, but remember, the track surface changes as the heats go. Parts are the core of your strategy. Monitor their condition and repair or replace them when necessary. Worn-out parts can affect your performance or handling and may lead to worse results. Engine is the heart of your bike. You can crank up its RPM and torque at a cost of faster wear and higher defect risk. It might be a smart move to save the best performance for your decisive heats. To sum up, it's all about tracks, grip, parts and engine. And one more thing, the online manual. Check it out for all the details. Good luck and keep full throttle!
It's the start of the competition. We will see how the riders struggle at the beginning of today's meeting. From the inner curve as follows: Troy Batchelor, Chris Harris, Jason Doyle, and close to the safety fence, Chris Ola. Start. An even start for the pack. A dangerous situation. Jason Doyle bringing up the rear. Jason Doyle is excluded. From the inner curve as follows: Troy Batchelor, Chris Harris, Chris Ola. place. Chris Holder bringing up the rear. First, Troy Batchelor. Chris Holder last. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Troy Batchelor right behind Chris Harris. Chris Holder bringing up the rear. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Entering the last bend. Troy Batchelor wins. No stories in this race. Series of heats lie ahead of us. A direct clash between three unbeaten riders. The inner curve as follows: Chris Harris, Christoph Kasperzak, Jarek Hampel, and close to the safety fence, Nicki Pedersen. Start. Nicki Pedersen touches the air fence. An even start for the pack. First, Nicki Pedersen is overtaken. Chris Harris last, elbow to elbow. Chris Harris drops into last place. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. Chris Harris bringing up the rear. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. Race is at the halfway stage now. First, Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. It could end up badly. Chris Harris touches the air fence. A fall. From the inner curve as follows: Chris Harris, Christoph Kasperzak, Jarek Hampel. Go! Not the best launch from the gate for Chris Harris. First, Jarek Hampel overtakes. Chris Harris, Jarek Hampel lost a place. Is overtaken. Chris Harris last. Elbow to elbow. Race is at the halfway stage now. Little distance between the riders. A dangerous situation. What a thrilling moment. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Jarek Hampel. Christoph Kasperzak drops into last place. Chris Harris touches the air fence, entering the crucial last bend. Jarek Hampel finishing. We have Jarek Hampel. Christoph. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. the inner curb as follows. Andreas Jonsson, Michael Jensen, Thomas H. Jonasson, and close to the safety fence, Chris Harris. Take off. Elbow to elbow. Not the best moves from the gate for Chris Harris. First, Andreas Michael Jensen drops into last place. Michael Jensen last. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Thomas H. Jonasson. Michael Jensen bringing up the rear. Race is at the halfway stage now. First, Thomas H. Jonasson, right behind. Thomas H. Jonasson lost a place. The situation changes. Thomas H. Jonasson takes the lead. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Michael Jensen is still in fourth place. Entering the last bend. Thomas H. Jonasson wins. It was a fascinating race. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. At the gates, red, Matti Zegar, blue helmet, Niels Christian Iversen, white, Matsej Janowski, yellow, Chris Harris. Go! It could end up badly. Matti Zegar is disqualified. Matsej Janowski is overtaken. First, Niels Christian Iversen. Chris Harris bringing up the rear, elbow to elbow. Matsej Janowski lost a place. Matsej Janowski lost a place. Matsej Janowski is overtaken. Matsej Janowski bringing up the rear. Race is at the halfway stage now. First, Niels Christian Iversen, right behind, Chris Harris. Matsej Janowski last. The situation changes instantly. Elbow to elbow. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Niels Christian Iversen leading from the start. Niels Christian Iversen is overtaken. It could end up badly. Entering the crucial last bend. Chris Harris is in a class of his own. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. Gates, red, Tai Woffinden, blue helmet, Greg Hancock, white, Chris Harris, yellow, wild card. Takes rise. Elbow to elbow. An even start for the pack. Greg Hancock drops into last place. Elbow to elbow. Greg Hancock last. Elbow to elbow. Tai Woffinden cheated his opponents. Elbow to elbow. Chris Harris last. Races at the halfway stage now. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Tai Woffinden, wildcard, takes the lead. Chris Harris touches the air fence. The situation changes instantly. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, wildcard. Greg Hancock drops into last place. It could end up badly. Wildcard taking the checkered flag. Entering the last bend. Greg wildcard. Finishing we have. Wildcard. Tai Woffinden. Greg Hancock. Chris Harris. This is a semi-final decider. Greg Hancock wins this GP round. It's the start of the competition. We will see how the riders struggle at the beginning of today's meeting. Follows Nicki Pedersen, Chris Harris, Jaroslaw Hampel, and close to the safety fence, Greg Hancock. The tapes rise. It could end up badly. Jaroslaw Hampel takes the lead. Greg Hancock lost a place. First, Jaroslaw Hampel. Nicki Pedersen bringing up the rear. First, Jaroslaw Hampel. Nicki Pedersen bringing up the rear. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Races at the halfway stage now. Jaroslaw Hampel leading from the start. It could end up badly. Nicki Pedersen last. What a thrilling moment. Greg Hancock comes in front. It could end up badly. Jaroslaw Hampel leading. Greg Hancock cheated his opponents. Entering the crucial last bend. Nicki Pedersen comes in front. And dangerous. Jaroslaw Hampel is in a class of his own. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. It's time for the second round of heats. Clash between two unbeaten riders. Who will win this time? At the gates, red, Chris Harris. Blue helmet, Jason Doyle. White, Christoph Kasperzak. Yellow, Andreas Jonsson. Takes rise. Andreas Johnson has let himself be cheated by his rivals. Andreas Johnson drops into last place. A dangerous situation. Andreas Johnson bringing up the rear. First, Christoph Kasperzak. Andreas Johnson bringing up the rear. Races at the halfway stage now. Christoph Kasperzak in the lead from the gate. Andreas Johnson bringing up the rear. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Christoph Kasperzak in the lead from the gate. Entering the last bend. Christoph Kasperzak is in a class of his own. A race to forget. The next series of heats lie ahead of us. As follows: Tai Woffinden, Michael Jensen, Troy Batchelor, and close to the safety fence, Chris Harris. Takes rise. It could end up badly. Tai Woffinden fall. As follows: Tai Woffinden, Michael Jensen, Chris Harris. Takes rise. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Chris Harris left at the start. First, Tai Woffinden. Chris Harris last. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Tai Woffinden. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Chris Harris bringing up the rear. Races at the halfway stage now. Tai Woffinden in the lead from the gate. Chris Harris last. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Tai Woffinden leading from the start. Michael Jensen lost a place. Tai Woffinden taking the checkered flag, entering the crucial last bend. Tai Woffinden is in a class of the following laps. The next series of heats lie ahead of us. Gates. Red, Niels Christian Everson. Blue helmet, Chris Holder. White, Chris Harris. Yellow, wild card. Go! An even start for the pack. First, Niels Christian Everson. Chris Harris bringing up the rear. First, Niels Christian Everson. Chris Harris bringing up the rear. Races at the halfway stage now. Niels Christian Everson leading from the start. Chris Harris last. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Niels Christian Iversen in the lead from the gate. Entering the last bend. Niels Christian Iversen wins. Finishing we have. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. Thomas H. Jonasson, Chris Harris, Matsej Janowski, and close to the safety fence, Matti Zegar. Go! It could end up badly. An even start for the pack. Thomas H. Jonasson drops into last place. First, Matti Zegar. Thomas H. Jonasson last. Elbow to elbow. First, Matti Zegar. Thomas H. Jonasson last. Race is at the halfway stage now. Matti Zegar leading from the start. A dangerous situation. There's no party at all. It could end up badly. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Matti Zegar in the lead from the gate. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Entering the crucial... Chris Harris is disqualified. Finishing we have... This is a semi-final decider. It's the start of the competition. We will see how the riders struggle at the beginning of today's meeting. At the gates, red, Tai Woffinden, blue helmet, Chris Harris, white, Niels Christian Iversen, yellow, Thomas H. Jonasson. Go! Thomas H. Jonasson touches the air fence. Niels Christian Iversen is overtaken. Thomas H. Niels Christian Iversen lost a place. A dangerous situation. A dangerous situation. Tai Woffinden has let himself be cheated by his rivals. Race is at the halfway stage now. First, Chris Harris, right behind, Tai Woffinden, Thomas H. Jonasson, last. What a thrilling moment. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Thomas H. Jonasson is still in fourth place. Entering the last bend, Chris Harris taking the checkered flag. Chris Harris is in a class of his own. Well worth it. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. Clash between two unbeaten riders. Who will win this time? From the inner curve as follows: Chris Harris, Nicki Pedersen, Jason Doyle, and close to the safety fence, Jaroslaw Hampel. Go! An even start for the pack. Jaroslaw Hampel has let himself be cheated by his rivals. Nicki Pedersen takes the lead. A dangerous situation. Chris Harris takes the lead. A dangerous situation. Jaroslaw Hampel takes the lead. First, Chris Harris. Jason Doyle drops into last place. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Jason Doyle takes the lead. Nicki Pedersen bringing up the rear. What a thrilling moment! Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Chris Harris. Entering the last bend. Chris Harris taking the checkered flag. Chris Harris is in a class of his own. It was a fascinating next series of heats lie ahead of us. Will Christoph Kasperzak feel the bitterness of defeat? From the inner curve as follows: Greg Hancock, Chris Holder, Andreas Jonsson, and close to the safety fence, Chris Harris. Tates go up. It could end up badly. An even start for the pack. Greg Hancock lost a place. First, Chris Holder. Andreas Jonsson, last. Greg Hancock comes in front. A dangerous situation. Andreas Jonsson cheated his opponents. First, Chris Holder. Greg Hancock, last. Chris Holder lost a place. Race is at the halfway stage now. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Andreas Jonsson is excluded. From the inner curve as follows: Greg Hancock, Chris Holder, Chris Harris. The tape dries. Not the best moves from the gate for Chris Harris. First, Greg Hancock. Chris Harris, last. Chris Holder drops into last place. Chris Holder bringing up the rear. Race is at the halfway stage now. First, Greg Hancock, right behind Chris Harris. Chris Holder, last. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Greg Hancock in the lead from the gate. Entering the last bend, Greg Hancock taking the checkered flag. A dangerous situation. Greg Hancock is in a class of his own. No stories in this next series of heats lie ahead of us. Bachelor, blue helmet. Michael Jensen, white. Wild card, yellow, Chris Harris. Tapes go up. It could end up badly. An even start for the pack. Wild card drops into last place. Wild card last. Elbow to elbow. Wild card drops into last place. Wild card drops into last place. First, Troy Bachelor. Wild card last. Michael Jensen is overtaken. Chris Harris touches the air fence. First, Troy Bachelor. Michael Jensen has let himself be cheated by his rivals. The situation changes instantly. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Troy Bachelor in the lead from the gate. Entering the crucial last bend. Elbow to elbow. Chris Harris is in a class of his own. Well worth next series of heats lie ahead of us. From the inner curve as follows: Matti Zegar, Matt Sajanovski, Chris Harris, and close to the safety fence, Christoph Kasperzak. Take off. A dangerous situation. An even start for the pack. Wall. From the inner curve as follows: Matti Zegar, Chris Harris, Christoph Kasperzak. Start. Chris Harris left out the start. A dangerous situation. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Christoph Kasperzak will not race in the rerun. Christoph Kasperzak will not race in the rerun. From the inner curve as follows: Matti Zegar, Chris Harris. Start. A phenomenal takeoff for Matti Zegar. First, Matti Zegar. Chris Harris last. It's pretty close here. Elbow to elbow. Race is at the halfway stage now. Elbow to elbow. Matti Zegar drops into last place. Matti Zegar drops into last place. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Elbow to elbow. Entering the crucial last bend. Chris Harris taking the checkered flag. Chris Harris wins. No stories in two riders from this heat qualify for the final. The gates. Red, Nicki Pedersen. Blue helmet, Jaroslaw Hampel. White, Chris Harris. Yellow, Greg Hancock. Start. A dangerous situation. An even start for the pack. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. Nicki Pedersen bringing up the rear. Nicki Pedersen drops into last place. First, Jaroslaw Hampel. Nicki Pedersen, last. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Jaroslaw Hampel. Right behind, Greg Hancock. Nicki Pedersen, last. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Jaroslaw Hampel in the lead from the gate. It could end up badly. Jaroslaw Hampel taking the checkered flag, entering the crucial last bend. Elbow to elbow. Chris Harris is excluded. Chris Harris is excluded. From the inner curve as follows. Nicki finishing we have. There are 2 places left. Who will get them? At the gates, red, Niels Christian Iversen, blue helmet. We've got the following lads on the finish. In this heat, everything is at stake. The places on the podium are about to be decided. It's the start of the competition. We will see how the riders struggle at the beginning of today's meeting. At the gates, red, Thomas H. Jonasson, blue helmet, Chris Holder, white, Chris Harris, yellow, Andreas Jonsson. The tape dries. A dangerous situation. Not the best balls from the gate for Chris Harris. First, Thomas H. Jonasson. Chris Harris touches the air fence. A dangerous situation. Chris Harris comes in front. Chris Holder takes the lead. Andreas Jonsson last. Andreas Jonsson drops into last place. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Chris Holder, right behind. Chris Holder lost a place. Thomas H. Jonasson last. Chris Holder lost a place. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Andreas Jonsson comes in front. Chris Harris taking the checkered flag, entering the last bend. Chris Harris is in a class of his own. The next series of heats lie ahead of us. A direct clash between 3 unbeaten riders. At the gates, red, Nicki Pedersen, blue helmet, Matti Zegar, white, Jaroslaw Hampel, yellow, Chris Harris. Go! It could end up badly. Uneven start for the pack. Jaroslaw Hampel drops into last place. Jaroslaw Hampel drops into last place. A dangerous situation. Jaroslaw Hampel overtakes. First, Nicki Pedersen. Jaroslaw Hampel last. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Nicki Pedersen, right behind, Matti Zegar, Jaroslaw Hampel last. The situation changes instantly. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Nicki Pedersen. Matti Zegar takes the lead, elbow to elbow. Matti Zegar taking the checkered flag, entering the crucial crucial last bend. Matty Zegar is in a class of his own. Well worth it. Next series of heats lie ahead of us. Fans have been crossing their fingers that Jason Doyle will finally win some points. At the gates, red, Niels Christian Everson. Blue helmet, Chris Harris. White, Jason Doyle. Yellow, Greg Hancock. Teams go up. An even start for the pack. Elbow to elbow. Jason Doyle cheated his opponents. Greg Hancock, last. Jason Doyle is overtaken. Jason Doyle takes the lead. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Greg Hancock, last. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Jason Doyle, close on his tail. Chris Harris. Chris Harris touches the air fence. The situation changes instantly. Elbow to elbow. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Chris Harris. Chris Harris touches the air fence. Chris Harris taking the checkered flag, entering the last bend. Chris Harris wins. Well worth it. The next series of heats lie ahead of us. From the inner curve as follows. Chris Harris, Krzysztof Kasperzak, Michael Jepsen-Jensen, and close to the safety fence, Maciej Janowski. Take tries. It could end up badly. An even start for the pack. Maciej Janowski drops into last place. A dangerous situation. Maciej Janowski, Michael Jepsen-Jensen cheated his opponents. It could end up badly. Chris Harris takes the lead. It could end up badly. Maciej Janowski bringing up the rear. Elbow to elbow. Races at the halfway stage now. Elbow to elbow. Michael Jepsen-Jensen cheated his opponents. The situation changes instantly. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Chris Harris. Michael Jepsen-Jensen lost a place. Chris Harris taking the checkered flag, entering the crucial last bend. Chris Harris wins. It's the last session of the regular part of the meeting. From the inner curve as follows. Chris Harris, wild card, Tai Woffinden, and close to the safety fence, Troy Batchelor. Start. An even start for the pack. A dangerous situation. First, Tai Woffinden comes in front. Troy Batchelor last. Tai Woffinden lost a place. First, wild card. Troy Batchelor bringing up the rear. Elbow to elbow. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Chris Harris, right behind, wild card. Troy Batchelor bringing up the rear. The situation changes instantly. Tai Woffinden overtakes. Elbow to elbow. First, Tai Woffinden is overtaken. Tai Woffinden entering the crucial last bend. From the inner curve as follows. We've got the following lads on the finish. The next series of heats lie ahead of us. At the gates, red, Matty Zegar. Blue helmet, Nicki Pedersen. White, Chris Harris. Yellow, Greg Hancock. It could end up badly. An even start for the pack. race. First, Chris Harris. Nicki Pedersen takes the lead. A dangerous situation. Matty Zagar has let himself be cheated by his rivals. First, Chris Harris. Nicki Pedersen bringing up the rear. It could end up badly. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Chris Harris. Right behind, Greg Hancock. Nicki Pedersen last. What a thrilling moment. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Chris Harris. Entering the crucial last bend. Chris Harris wins. Well worth it. Who will win tonight's GP? From the inner curve as follows: Tai Woffinden, Greg Hancock, Chris Harris, and close to the safety fence, Chris Holder. Take off. An even start for the pack. It could end up badly. Fall. From the inner curve as follows: Tai Woffinden, Chris Harris, Chris Holder. The tape dries. Shoulder to shoulder from the start, elbow to elbow. First, Tai Woffinden. Chris Holder last. Tai Woffinden lost a place. A dangerous situation. Chris Holder bringing up the rear. Races at the halfway stage now. First, Chris Harris. Right behind, Tai Woffinden. Chris Holder bringing up the rear. There's no party at all. Just one more lap and we'll know the winner. First, Chris Harris. Entering the crucial last bend. Chris Harris wins! A race to forget. Chris Harris wins this GP round. Places on the podium for Chris Holder and Tai